Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another track guy video with yours truly, Ridgeway Racing. We're in the F3 car at Road Atlanta, full course, early in the morning, right after sunrise. And we got a nice little setup done. We got a nice hot lap done, and we'll do the track guide. If you're looking for the setup, you can find it at www.patreon.com/Ridgeway Racing. Thanks for all the likes, the subscribes, all the love. I appreciate everybody out there giving me a little support. And we'll jump into it. I'll do a little corner by corner analysis. All the track weather conditions, all that good stuff is found in the description. And after the corner by corner analysis, there'll be a full in cockpit lap and a full chase cam lap with no voiceover. You'll find the timestamps in the description as well if you want to jump to that. So let's get into it. All right, so we're now on board, coming into the hot lap out of exit of turn 12. This is the front straight, and then we got turn 1 right here. Just to let off of the throttle and then back on the throttle. Pretty easy, but actually a little bit trickier than it appears. I think it'll get easier as you do it, but we have this nice little bit of road right here, a little bit of asphalt here to the left. I didn't really use it too much, but you can probably cut over quite a bit. I actually didn't go figure out where these limits were, but you can open up the corner entry by going a little bit left. You get a little preload on the tires. It helps sort of, give you a little bit of grip going through the apex. But the telemetry doesn't work in certain slow-mo speeds. I know it works in this one. I'm letting off the throttle. I'm letting the car rotate and then back on the throttle. I drop it actually down to fifth as we go up this hill. And then we got to get back over to the right. And then I use that tree, the empty space, that tree, the valley of the tree with the antenna to try to line this corner up, which is not extremely difficult, but it can be a little bit challenging. But you have to. There's a lot of blind corners when you have all these elevation changes. So right here, this is what I wanted to look at. I sort of will try to. I'll just get over to the right, anywhere over to the right, really. It could be, a car to the right, a car to the side, any line really. But I take this antenna, I look at that tree, and what I'm doing is basically like just slowly bringing it over across this empty space. And then as this curb appears to me, and I could see it finally, right? Like there's been so many times I went off into the left on the grass here and just completely missed this. But this is a good marker. Is go across the empty space of the trees. Basically, right where that V to the left of the antenna is of that trees, the profile the trees make. I'm sort of using that as my marker to attack, but I stop looking at it as soon as we get to this curb, as soon as you can visually see the curb. Now, mind you, you might be in your cockpit, not that far down, but you're not going to see anything, right? But you might be like really up on you might be in triple screen, something like this. It's not as easy to see, so maybe worth moving your camera around. So just a thought. The other one is you could maybe use this blue gazebo over to the right, at the top of the blue awning there. But yeah, you'll get your tires on the left side here, and really just trying to set up for the brake. Finding a nice straight place to brake, and then grabbing that curve to the right. There is a video on YouTube with Max Verstappen doing a hot lap in the dollar F3 on this track. And something I noticed was here, he was way over to the right. He took this turn, this sequence of turns, which is basically 1, 2, 3. This would be corner 3 right here. That's 2. But he really carries so much speed through here, and he cuts this over probably. You move the car over the width of one tire, but basically his left tires are on the yellow line before the curb starts, and then his right tires are on this green part and into the dirt a little bit. Then you can come out of here. Got to do it with the telemetry. You're turning it, and then you're back. I'm back on throttle pretty quick. Left side on these curbs. You don't have to use these curbs. That's just how far wide I went. And then back in the cockpit. We go from that sequence to really setting up this next section here. So We're staying to the left. And I have a marker for this one too, because again, it's hard to see where this curve presents itself to us. And it's not really a marker. It's just I'm looking at these cones to the right, and as soon as I see these cones, you can see me going straight, and then oh, there's the cones. I start to turn in. Oh, maybe a little too much. Okay, we're good. We're good. Everything's fine. But sometime you sort of use that as a good reference to repeat with, so you have some repeatable way to get through this without it's easy to just make that one small mistake. You could do 100 laps, and then one lap you just turn in too early, and you're like, oh, that's the grass, right? Or you put your two right tires over in the grass over here. So that's my key for this is using these cones to the right to help encourage when to turn and to turn in slowly. Just because you might miss it, just turn in a little bit. Okay, there's plenty of grip in the car. Go, go, go. And then here is an interesting turn as well. Another thing I learned from the old Max Verstappen video. But basically, going through this line, and a lot of times you're going to want to brake almost parallel to the way this is, but as the curve turns, and I went a little too early on this, but you can go a little later where you actually have the car straight here, but maybe more pointed towards the right, so rotated clockwise from the top down orientation, and you get a quick little bit of brake area. I'm catching a little brake, and then I'm gassing it. Now, putting those left tires on the curb works. I mean, it'll work. It'll be quick. But I noticed, and when I was doing laps, that it's if I get it just right, sometimes not even putting the right tires on the curb, just keeping everything on the asphalt, and then keeping all these on the asphalt right when you throttle up, like right there. Um, Not exactly the position of the car, but at the apex, really gunning the throttle. You got all four wheels on the asphalt. You can really get out of here pretty quick. Go very wide here and not get an off track. I don't remember exactly where the off track is, but it doesn't make it any faster. So you almost want to keep everything nice and tight, um, especially with the way the F3 car is set up this season. You don't really have bump stops to get away with. So, I mean, they're there, but they're through like shock deflection and things like that. It's just you can't adjust them. You can't fine tune the bump stops. Yeah, that was a quick little drive through 6 and 7. This one's a good onboard. Easy brake marker here. You have the 1 line, 2 line, 3 line, go! So when you first start off, cold tires, or you're just getting used to the track, the first line's a good spot to like start braking. But as you go in there, you can really start braking at maybe right before the second line. We'll go slow on this. There it is. Let's see, somewhere right in between. And you sort of just letting off, and you can see I want to throttle even sooner. That's fun. I'm ready to go, baby. Like, all right, we're letting off. I just want to push the throttle super hard, but I was being a little bit careful. And then this one's a weird setup because, sorry, that was turn 6 and into turn 7. I've messed this up so many times. I don't know. It's so difficult to get down. I was trying to find a place to like. Basically, what I try to do is find a brake marker and then stare at the apex. I don't want to look at the brake marker for very long. I don't even want to look at the brake marker while I'm braking. I just want to know that, that's about where it's at. Let me start staring at the apex. But again, this one's a little blind too because you can't really see where the apex is until, maybe somewhere around, I don't know, 2 or 4 color links if you call that yellow 1 to the left, blue 2, yellow 3, blue 4. Let's see where I ended up braking at. And only go slow, only so slow. Pretty sure I was sort of easing up. I started braking like way early, but you could probably brake even later. But that turn in is a good spot. I would say maybe right before the curb ends, by about however much that is. So maybe like the second blue on the left would be a good spot. And then you slow it down. You got to slow it down enough because you really got to get on throttle. You have this very long straight 8, straight 9 following it. And you really don't even want to grab too much curb there unless you're just flying out of turn 7, out of the exit there. Because this curb's bumpy. It will slow you down a little bit. Maybe you can pull it off and it's still quick. I noticed when I hit it, it wasn't doing me so well. And then the straight's straightforward, but there's one little thing about it is, at least with my setup, this middle lane here, it seems like I'll scratch the floor just a little bit. It probably would only take like, I don't know, a few tenths of a tenth away from you. So maybe like 0.04 seconds or 0.003 seconds, who knows? But if someone's following you, that might be the difference. It could be the difference. I always recommend sort of crossing over with the car at an angle, kind of like going up a driveway where you don't scrape the bottom of the car. Just kind of get the wheels not parallel to the road, or your trajectory of your car not parallel to the road. So when you go in at a different angle, like say you're going in, turning to the right, and you have this elevation change while you're going really fast, and the car is really low to the ground. That front left tire will get hit first. It actually picks the car up a little bit, and then the front right tire will hit it next and pick it back up. So you kind of go bump up, like if you're going over a speed bump at an angle. So that'll help probably with bottoming out. I didn't experience too much bottoming out, but trying to keep the car as low as I can. I would say the top speed of the car is pretty good. We can see it here as we head into, was this turn 10A, I think. So the top speed of the car is not too bad. We're at 254. And then that brake marker is right after the 100. Right there, basically. I'm basically right. This line is where I'm braking. A little before, a little after. You got to play it by how your tires are feeling. But you really want to, you got to do good here too. This isn't just a straight after it. It's a full throttle. It's a straight and then down a hill and then around here, turn 12. So you really got to set this up right. So make sure you slow down enough here. And then you're going to bring your left tires across this blue and yellow. You're getting on the throttle, full throttle, coming across there. This is a good spot to clip, like right where the curb, the yellow line, and the white line meet with your front right tire. It'll look maybe something like this. You might be a little higher up, maybe a little lower, who knows? Usually somewhere like that. Get on that curb, throttle it, and you could tell on the telemetry I had to let off a little bit out of fear. Like, oh, because I don't want to go off to the left here. It's not good. And then this is another good marker. It's like you can't really see where the downhill is when you first start. When you first start doing this. Oh, did I lose my? Hold on. Sorry about that. Unpause. Right, I had to pause it real quick. Yeah, I don't know. There was some little issue, but my keyboard wasn't working there for a second. But well, with the iRacing software. But let's so. What I was saying was, as you come out of here, see this yellow, red, and white under the bridge at the Fox Valley, the top of the antenna's touching it. You can use this as a good marker so that you can see where that's at on the right, where the grass is. You can kind of shorten the track out that way. It's a good spot to do. It's like I'm basically just going straight. I'm trying not to go too wide here. Cut the track distance down. Full throttle, let it go. Good to go. We got ourselves a nice little 131.1 here. I was trying to get to the 112s. Probably got it on the optimal, but there's always the rest of the week to figure it out. I'll take the 113.1. Road Atlanta's a fun one. It's a little bit of a challenge. I think it gets really easy as you do it. It becomes a very easy to flow track, but at first it seems a little daunting, all the elevation changes. I will say this setup that I built for it feels really good. The Hockenheim setup the previous week was a little bit of a big change to the approach, especially with suspension. And this is sort of carried over into the Road Atlanta, which is working pretty well for it too. The big changes really started happening with the Virginia setup as I was tweaking stuff for league races and things like that. But yeah, so I really hope you guys enjoy it. Yeah, please go hop on the Patreon, grab the setup, drive it for yourself, see if it shaves off half a second for you. And next up will be the in Cockpit Cam, followed by the Chase Cam. So enjoy it and good luck at Road Atlanta this week. Goodbye.